Hi everyone, this is Jen. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making this box, which is a vase holder for these 3 jars. And we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a minute. Stay tuned. We begin by making the base. You take a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock and trim 1/4 inch off of one side. So on the side that is 11 3/4, you're going to score at 2 1/4, 4 1/2, 7 1/4, and 9 1/2. And then you're going to turn the paper so that the 12-inch side is on top and score at 2 1/4 and 9 3/4. And that's all the scoring you have to do on the base. There's a few other side pieces here that we're going to work on. These are the 2 handles, and they measure 1 1/2 by 8 1/2. There's 2 of those. We're going to stick the 1 1/2 inch side at the top of the scoreboard, and you're going to score it in half. So at 3/4 of an inch, you want to make a score mark. You're going to do that on both pieces. I have this to the left-hand side, or sorry, the right-hand side of the board, because it's just easier for me to score over there since I'm right-handed. This piece is for the bottom of the box to just reinforce it a little bit. And on the 5-inch side, you're going to score at 2 1/2. You're just going to score it in half, fold it over, and then we will attach that when the box is assembled. That's all the scoring you have to do for now. So let's go ahead and burnish those score lines on the base, or the box itself. And we are going to keep all of it. We're not going to cut any of it off. We're actually going to fold over some of it on itself to make it extra sturdy and reinforce the box, because it is going to hold something substantial, being our flowers and our little plastic vases, more or less. So what I'm doing is I'm taking and putting some adhesive on one end and turning it around and putting it on the other end. And this is the side that just has the 2 score lines. So if you see there's just 2 score lines on that side, I'm going to just peel off the backing and stick it to itself. I'll just repeat the process by taking that adhesive backing off and then folding it over on itself. And then you'll end up with three panels, more or less, I guess. You have your front and your back panels, and then your middle bottom panel. Let's go ahead and cut in on those score lines. And you are cutting through 2 thicknesses of the cardstock, so you know it is a little bit a little bit thicker than usual, but it's actually will be great because we need the extra support. And then you're going to turn the box over and place some adhesive on the flaps so that we can fold them in for the box. In addition to the dry adhesive, the score tape, I'm putting a little bit of wet glue just to reinforce the adhesive on those sides. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut off just a little wedge out of these flaps. You'll want to do this before you remove the backing of the adhesive. You can even do it before you apply the adhesive. Because obviously that's going to stick to my scissors. So on this side, I do it before I remove the backing, and it works a lot better. This is just so when you fold your flaps in, the flaps aren't sticking over the top. And I'll show you right here. When you fold in the flaps, if you don't cut that piece off, then it will probably stick up out of the top of your box. So that's why we trim that off. So in addition to, like I said, in addition to the score tape, I went ahead and put some Tombow clear glue on my flaps just to give it a little extra strength and just to make sure that it held and does not come apart. So we'll get our sides folded in, and then that's pretty much the box itself. So we're going to do some things to embellish it and then get ready to put our jars inside. Alright, now it's time to apply the pattern panels that I have cut. And the front and the back panels measure 7 3/8 by 2 inches. And this piece here was the bottom piece that we scored. It was 7 3/8 by 5 inches. So I just folded it over on itself, as you could see, put some adhesive on, and then put some adhesive on the bottom side and applied it to the bottom of the box. So now I'm going to take my front and back panels, which again are 7 3/8 by 2 inches. There's 2 of them, one for the back, one for the front, and we can apply those. The 2 side pieces are going to measure 2 5/8 by 2 inches, and those are the pieces right now I'm applying adhesive to. And then, like I stated in the beginning of the video, the handles measure 1 1/2 by 8 1/2. So we'll get to those here in a minute. But right now I'm going to go ahead and put all the panels on and we'll move on. Okay, so let's grab the handle pieces. Now these were the pieces in the beginning of the video that we scored in half. So the 1 1/2 inch side, we scored to 3/4 of an inch. Now we'll just take adhesive and apply some so that we can fold these over onto itself and make them stay put. Go ahead and bring back your scoreboard, and what you're going to do is you want to score the 3/4 of an inch in half. So what you're going to do is count over 3/8 of an inch. You can do this on either side of the scoreboard. Just count over 3/8 of an inch. Then you go down 1 1/2 inches on the side. There's markers on either side of my scoreboard, and I score down to 7 inches. I don't score the whole thing. You just want to score the middle, and I'll show you why in a second. So we're going to do it on this piece still. We go over 3 notches, which is 3/8 of an inch. We mark ourselves. We go down to the 1 1/2 inch mark, and then that's when we press down and we go down to 7, so that both ends of these pieces are not scored. It's just the middle part. We're going to fold in on that score line that we just made, and we're going to apply some more adhesive, and then you will see the handles come together. We'll round the corners of the ends of the handle, and then we'll apply them. Alright, so for the embellishments, my brads for my handles, I didn't have any more of these. I didn't have 4 of them anyways. I really like these. But what I did was I grabbed my white brads that I have. These are probably they're not a mini brad, but they're still smaller than a regular brad. And then I had these flat back rhinestone pieces, shimmery things. So I went over and took my hot glue, put a dab on, and stuck the rhinestone to the brad. So I'm going to go finish this last one and install them on the handles. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and finish our project for today. As you can see, I put my brads in this side. I'm finishing up over here. So I'm taking my brad with the glued on rhinestone piece, and once again I attached the handles with hot glue beforehand, and then I had pre-punched holes with my hole punch so that I could put my brads in there just to give it a little more embellishment. This is the box itself, and with all of the thick cardstock that I used, it's a pretty sturdy box. Taking my sentiment and then my coordinating paper that I have, and I'm just going to place my sentiment on my paper just like that. I'm going to grab my foam adhesive. Now, if you'll notice, I messed up the first time and I had some glue sitting on my surface, and I turned this over and messed it up. But you'll never see the back of this. So all I did was I reused the same piece of blue paper, teal paper, and just cut out another sentiment and placed it on there. So I didn't want to waste the piece of paper. So we're going to take this on there. We'll center this up and just press that in. Okay, so at this point your box is done. You could put anything in it, but like I said, what I chose to do was take my little relish jars, my plastic jars I had, and I purposely actually bought these for this reason. And then they were, you know, the jars of relish were $1 at the grocery store, and then I put the relish in something else in the house so that I could have these jars. These two are, I put some foam adhesive on the bottom of these and stuck them in there so they won't move, but this one I haven't done that with yet because I wanted to show you how I finish them out. This was the 3/8 by 8.5 inch piece that I cut. So what I'm going to do is just put a dab of hot glue on the top threaded part, lay this in here, and then I'll just go around, and then every so often put a couple, you know, dabs of hot glue until I get all the way around, and then that's what gives that embellishment on the top of the jar. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one, but I'm going to obviously use the coordinating paper right here. So let me show you what paper I used. This stuff here, I got this at Joann Fabric, and it's the Park Lane brand, and it's 100, where is it at? 110 pounds, so it's the thicker cardstock. This is what I am trying to use for most of my 3D projects just because it holds up so well. The other basic stuff when you go buy it is 65 pound, so just a heads up, if you look for the 110 pound, it will be extra thick, and your projects, your 3D projects will hold up a lot better. So that's the project for today. You're not going to see me finish this one out because I don't have any more jars, but this is the project for the day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.